Office discipline referrals, suspensions, and placements in alternative settings continue to be at significantly high levels in our schools nationwide. Teasing, taunting, bullying, and harassment also negatively impact our classrooms, and especially the common areas in our schools. One response in Arkansas and across the country is the implementation of positive behavioral support systems.
Stop and think. When a house problems, stop and think. Good choice, the right choice. What choice can I make? What's the can I take? Oh, stop and think.
Positive behavioral support systems are basically school-wide approaches to discipline, behavior management, and ultimately student self-management. What we're trying to do from a school to a staff to a student perspective is to create positive school environments, teach students appropriate behavior, and get them to manage their own behavior on a social, emotional, and behavioral level.
We chose to implement PBSS because we were struggling with the implementation of our RTI process. And we wanted to make a solid behavior component. And so we knew we wanted to do more than just tell students what good behavior was. We wanted to teach them the appropriate behaviors so that we would get an expected outcome.
We chose to implement PBSS because we were becoming concerned about increasing numbers of students who were coming to us unprepared with the social skills they needed to be successful at school.
And so we just decided that we needed a district-wide thing. In discipline, we didn't have anything that was the same, nothing with the same language. I mean, it was all individual teachers.
There are 5 primary components of a positive behavioral support system. The first is we've got to identify the behavioral expectations that we want our students to demonstrate. But also, we've got to build relationships with our students and across our faculty. The positive relationships and climates need to be from staff to staff, staff to students, staff to parents, and students to students. But we've got to create those positive climates both in the classroom and across the common areas of the school.
The staff were working together to implement the PBSS aspects. One big part is the SLTs, the shared leadership teams. So the leadership is divided among all of the staff members. It's not just one head, even though we do have a principal and 2 assistant principals. The leadership is shared.
The confidence that I needed to not just be the person that kind of sits back and watches everything, and kind of analyzes it. It's gave me a voice, in my current grade level meetings or, whatever it may be, whether I'm meeting with my principal, I don't, now I feel like I have the confidence because I'm part of something that is important to our school. I have the confidence that's needed to be able to voice my opinion.
I think the relationship between staff and students has gotten more respectful maybe than before. Not so much I'm the teacher in charge, but more of a partnership.
The second component is we've got to literally teach, explicitly teach, students' social, emotional, and behavioral skills. Now, this is put into a developmental context. So obviously at the preschool, elementary level, we're teaching at a different level than at the middle school and the high school. But we've got to teach our students behaviors like how to listen, follow directions, ignore distractions, respond to teasing, how to accept consequences, how to walk around the school in terms of classroom and building routines. So we've got to teach these explicit skills.
I think PBSS has changed us in that it's made the teachers more aware that students have to be taught social skills, that we can't just expect them to come into the building in kindergarten knowing what is expected and this is how I listen or this is how I learn. And it's made the students self-motivators, self-monitors. They know, hey, is this a good choice? Is this not a good choice? And we're getting them to actively think about their behavior.
The third component, we've got to motivate the students to use these skills and hold them accountable for both appropriate and inappropriate behavior. Included in this is the peer group. We want to make sure that the peers are reinforcing the appropriate behavior so that the individual students are demonstrating the appropriate behavior.
We've had a student I can think of that is in 3rd grade and he was really struggling with his behavior. And so we were able to look at what was going on and how we could go in and motivate him to make those choices for himself and really analyze how his behavior, what was behind his behavior and get to the core of it, and to really teach him this is how to handle this situation.
And we had, for example, one student went into Ms. Heath's office one day, shut the door, looked at her and said, "I've made a really bad choice." So, you know,
That's success.
that is success, and that's just a classic example for us to know that what we're doing is working with our students. Students need to know what's expected. They need guidelines, and having that common language helps the teachers know you're saying exactly what I'm saying, and the kids are getting the same message.
The fourth component is consistency, and this is a process. We've got to have consistently positive classroom and school settings. We've got to do the skill instruction in consistent ways. We've got to have consistent motivation, consistent accountability. Inconsistency basically undercuts accountability, and we don't get the behavior that we want.
Behavioral consistencies have made improvements in our school in the areas of teacher expectation. Our teachers are expecting students now with our common area expectations to behave a certain way in certain areas. We are working on our behavior matrix, which will be consistency throughout our grade levels to help our students demonstrate appropriate behavior, within the classrooms, and consistency throughout the grade level. So when they move from classroom to classroom, they'll know that the same things are expected.
And then finally, there's an application element. We've got to look at the use of the skills by the students, their motivation in the classroom and in the common areas of the school, and also this extends to the interpersonal relationships such that we're preventing and helping our students to respond to teasing, taunting, bullying, harassment, hazing, and physical aggression.
Our goal was to help our students become self-managers and self-learners, and that's basically what Common Core is asking teachers to be able to do with students as well.
So to me, I kind of always understood that the content is, can't happen unless the rapport and the relationships happen, but it's provided me a pathway for that. I saw what the goal was, but I needed a way to get to the goal, and it's taught me different strategies that I can use to get to there, different lessons, how to build that rapport with kids that are different. How do you reach those individuals?
The PBS model has helped us have a systematic approach of using the data in these different areas of the Sprint, RTI, and our behavioral information that we try to keep and use.
PBSS is a process, a program, a playbook of how to do things. So we go to the playbook, look at there and say, hey, we want to do this. So it's given us a foundation, it's given us consistency, it's given us some answers. It's given us experts to go to for help. It's given us peers. We can call in our school and say, hey, this is an issue. How is PBSS functioning, working at your school? How has it helped you with this area? So it's just been a great support system, a great vehicle to give us direction and resources to take, improve our school and make our school the best it can be, and make that environment the best it can be for our students.
PBSS made our teachers really collaborate on the areas of behavior that needed to be addressed. The whole staff came together and created common positive behaviors to promote and celebrate. The development of PBSS at the junior high school has resulted in a decrease in office referrals. One student made dramatic improvements in behavior. Upon questioning, she stated it was because her teachers were now giving her positive attention and letting her know they cared about her.
PBSS has not only improved our school environment, but it has also improved our classroom environments. I was amazed at what little amount of time it took to see the positive effects of PBSS in our school. I would highly recommend PBSS to anyone who is not only looking to improve behavior, but academics as well.